Hey guys, it's me, Danny, and I'm recording right now the review to the FitCamX for the Mustang Mach-E. Now, what the camera is, it's a custom housing camera that goes right above your review mirror. It fits right in, you don't even notice it's there. It plugs into the power that's up there already, so you don't have any power cords going along your windshield, going into your USB plugs in the front at all. Now, they also make this for other model cars that fit in right into the housing unit on your center dash on the top, and you don't even notice it's there. It's going to come with a few different things. It's going to come with a tool to pop out the housing that's already in your car. It's going to come with the actual housing with the camera. It's going to come with the memory card and some other little things on there, but those are the main things you're going to need. Oh, and a USB adapter for the SD card that it comes with, okay? The MicroSD card. Overall, here's the installation of it. Now, I did get caught up with the installation because I did drop a clip. I also do recommend getting some sort of tweezers or pliers for those clips to make it easier to take them in and out. But overall, it wasn't very difficult. I was parked on an angle, which made it a little bit more difficult. So I was leaning back and it made it a little difficult to get into there. Overall, the camera quality is great. Now, I did mess with the quality a little bit and I put it overexposed for a while and I didn't notice it because you're not checking it every day. So that was my bad. But once I got it right, it worked just fine. There was also an issue going to 4K. It was only recording in 2K for a while, so I reached out to FitCamX. They sent me a link to another app to get it switched out, but at this point, the app that comes in the box with the little QR code that you scan to download it should be working just fine, they assured me, which is great. I'll put up the QR codes right here if you want to download them. On top of that, I'll dive into the app right now just so you can check it out. All right, so we're gonna launch the app right now. I might get some text and phone calls. And this is what the initial app looks like. I'm gonna move my face. My camera, you have the ability to add it. I'm gonna go into what I have right now. So I'm not worried about logging in, but I do have some photos in here that are at different compressions. You can see it's kind of a fisheye on some of these things, but that's not what I wanna do right now because that was before I activated 4K on there. So I'm gonna go to the camera right here. I'm gonna hit connect. And what it's gonna do, it's gonna bring me Wi-Fi settings. And I'm gonna go to FitCam Mach-E. I'm gonna click on it. And it should automatically log in. It's gonna tell me that there's no internet available on here. So I'm gonna go back. You're gonna see that FitCam is actually loading. And I'm gonna connect this time. Now I could access it. And right now it's currently recording. You could see that there is a pause button or I could snap a photo. Okay. If I go to camera settings, now I have the ability to go ahead and record sound. I do recommend recording sound. It allows you to go ahead and make notes, verbal notes about something that's going on in front of you, whether that's an accident, whether that's a person description, a license plate, something like that. You can change the video resolution on here. I have it at 4K. May as well, right? You're buying it for 4K. The loop time I actually have for 5 minutes. And the reason I have it for 5 minutes is it's 900 megabytes for every 5 minutes of 4K. You can make it 10 minutes, but those files are super large. You're gonna use like 1.5 gigs of data to transfer to your PC to find the right clip, where I'd rather sift through 5-minute increments. On there, you could do exposure compensation. You could turn on and off a watermark. The watermark has the date and time on there. Now, the other part of it too is that you have this collision sensing, and basically it's judging your hard stops. So you could make it, if you're a hard braker, maybe you're in LA or somewhere with a lot of congestion where you might be pumping your brakes a lot more quickly, you probably want to put the sensitivity up or down based on that. So I have it on medium, and What it does is when this device is on the working state, it automatically locks the current recording video when a collision is detected. It puts that into a folder separate so it doesn't get recorded over, which is a great safety feature of the video in case you need it. Now, down here, you're going to see the format SD card. I only have less than a gig of the 256 gigs on here. Oh, I don't want to do that. But what that means is I just have a lot of video on there. So let me go ahead into the camera roll right here, and I'm going to move my face right down here. This is the video stream that I could pull from. You'll notice the timestamps on there are based on military time, the 24-hour clock, not the regular time. If I want to pull any kind of video on here, and you're going to see this, you'll see they're all 862 megabytes, just underneath 900. It's a lot, it's big files. So why don't we try it? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this video right here. And you'll notice that there's two things that are going to happen. It's going to do a playback on it. So it's playing it back right now. You'll notice the bottom corner over here. It has the timestamp. I'm going to move it to the middle. Again, I'm connected via Wi-Fi onto the FitCamX housing. So this is not Wi-Fi that's just universal where everything's going. There's not really happening in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward this over here, I think. Well, let's go to another one. Let's go to another one. Here we go. So this is based on Wi-Fi. And we'll get into that. And this is from my phone view, right? And that's kind of what I want to get into the idea of, is this is what it looks like via your phone, but you could download this. So that's where I'm going to do it right now. Let's see. Hit download. And while it's downloading, 1%, it's Wi-Fi. It's not super quick, but you're not going to be using the Wi-Fi to download this media. Okay, you're actually going to be taking out the SD card and popping it into your laptop instead, because that's the quickest way to transfer these files, the easiest way to sift through them, as opposed to Wi-Fi. This is only going to be a last effort. If you don't need the file immediately, take out your memory card, take it inside. If you need it right now, we're almost 10% in. It's going to take a bit of time. It's also going to take nearly a gig. So depending on how big your phone's memory is, it could eat up all that memory relatively quickly, right? So that's something to consider. Now, I did have an initial issue of it recording in 4K, but I'll get into that later on in this video. Right now, we're about 13%. I'm going to cancel this download, and I'm just going to take this memory card on the inside. This was just the overview of the app, and you could see everything is there. I could go to my snapshots and see everything that I have taken a photo of. Let's see, what's this right here? This is just something in front of me. Do this. I'm going to download that. I think this is just a screen cap. Yep. So now that I have it full, there you go. Let me go here. So this, you can't really tell what's in front, but once I hit download, it gets the full file, and it looks like I could read that license plate just fine, right? So either way, it's now on my phone. We'll take a look at it in closer. You have your locked files for any kind of hard pressed or files that you decided to lock in advance. Those are what these are. And then you have parking. You could actually go ahead and mark your parking locations. I haven't used that feature. Other than that, it's a pretty simple setup. And yeah, let's jump back into the video. So that was the app right there. Super easy to use. You have to get through the Wi-Fi enablement and all that other stuff. So it is a little bit cumbersome maybe, but you've also got to remember that you're using this very rarely. And I don't want to say you're using it very rarely because it's not always going to be on. It's always going to be on in recording, but you're using it when you need it, right? When you need to pull footage. If you don't want to use the app past the initial setup, the SD card does pop out of the housing, and you can use that adapter they included to plug it into your computer and just transfer your video like that. But if you're in the car and you need to pull that video right now for a reason, you got pulled over, you got in a car accident, whatever the case may be, you have the ability to download it right to your phone, which is awesome. Now, I do want to talk about the fact that the main competitors for this are just as expensive, if not more expensive than this camera. And there's pros and cons, and the give and take to it all is that the ease of use versus the anesthetics are going to be the main thing. And what I mean by that is there's going to be other cameras out there that might be easier to use with their apps because they're cloud-based and all that other stuff. However, this is such a low usage item you have in your car. You're using it in emergencies, right? So you're going to need it to work at that point. But you also have a camera that's hanging out right on your dash that's using a suction cup that can get moved or modified or pushed out of the way, whereas this one is a housing that goes on. I cannot even see it right now. I cannot physically see the camera from where I'm sitting because the rearview mirror is covering it from my end, but it's pointing right out through my front and it sees everything it needs to see almost dead center, which is awesome. It's doing what it needs to do. I would take that any day because I don't want something that is making my car more desirable to break into, to steal something from. I also like the fact that it replaces the housing up there and I don't even notice that I have it, right? That's huge because I don't want another thing that I have to worry about to take another plug. It does plug into the existing power up there, which is nice. You're only going to be using this in an emergency or if you need to pull a video, right? So that's number one. Number two is, let's jump into a deeper dive on that video quality. Video quality looks great at 4K. In the rain, it looks good. At night, it looks fine. And I say fine, I'm not saying I'm not enthused about it or anything like that. It's dark, but it's accurate. You could throw up the exposure to see a little bit further, but then you're going to get grain and all the other stuff. But for what you need it for, it works perfectly good on there. Now, the things that I've learned from this that I would highly recommend is I swapped out the memory card in there with a 256 gig memory card. And when I did that, I got way more storage because the memory card that was in there was actually a brand I was not familiar with at all. And so I put this SanDisk in there, 256 gigs. When you're recording at 4K, it's about, and mind you, okay, I have it recording at 5-minute intervals before it re-records over itself. Not a constant 5 minutes, and then that's all I have of the last 5 minutes in 2 files or whatever. Until it maxes out the memory card, then it records over the oldest video. Now, at 256 gigs, it's a lot of memory, right? At 5 minutes, it takes about 900 megabytes of data to record on. Cool. With 256 gigs, or let's just say this, in about an hour, you're recording about 9 gigs of data. That's a lot of data on there. You're gonna have plenty of it, but because you're recording at 4K, you can move it to 2K and make it half the file size. But at 4K, that's a big file size, 9 gigs. I mean, for every hour, I have at least 3 weeks worth of driving on this camera right now, which is cool. It's enough for me. That's why I want a bigger memory card, because you're going to record a bigger capacity. You want it. You're not going to transfer all this to your computer constantly. You're going to transfer the clips that you need. Now, overall, do I recommend this camera for the Mustang Mach-E? And at this point of when I record this video, 100% absolutely yes. Okay. And this is going to be more of a Ford thing than a FitCamX thing at this moment that I want to talk about. But number one is this. There's, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras on this car that I can't use to record on as of right now. I would really just like to be able to get a low profile micro or a USB-C, plug it into one of these slots, and to record right to it. So right now the Ford cannot actually record using the existing cameras. It is what it is. The question now becomes, do I recommend this product? And I do. 100% I do. The fact is, it's out of my way. I only have pulled video from this to do this review. And when I did pull the video, it looks great. I like that there's a camera feature that I could hit the shutter on, and it works. It does as it's supposed to do. That's what the important part of having a dash cam is that it works when you need it to work. In this case, it fits the housing. It's out of the way. You have it. You don't think about it. Set it and forget it type of thing. And that's why I highly recommend this unit. It fits right in. It comes in many different models to fit your car, possibly. And yeah, if you want to pick it up, there's a link in the description below. There's also a code, so you get a discount on it. And again, my name is Danny. If you have any questions or comments, I can make a follow-up video to this, and we'll go from there. But overall, have a good one.